Hey guys, welcome back. So today I don't have a layout update for you, but this is going to be an OPS Session Booklet update. For those of you who tuned into my live stream on my Third Rail Thursday a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago actually, I talked about this booklet that I had made for Chris and Mark, which is Go Via or Go Home and M&M Rails, when they came over to run trains on my layout. So I had asked them a couple days ahead of time if they wanted me to make an OPS session like I used to on my old layout, and they thought that would be a great idea and a lot of fun. So I got to work. I got these duotangs that my teacher wife so graciously donated, and I started getting some track plans together and some ideas. So I'm just gonna go through it with you. I had kind of gone through it briefly when I was on my live stream, but I just added to it, so I want to show off some of that. The first page is a track plan of my entire layout. It's color coded, and there's a legend to talk about what areas reference what. So you have things like the yard, the lower and upper industries, and this is referenced in pictures and in the guides so that they can reference it if they need to. We also have some small rules like the limit of 4 cars per loco, but multi-unit consists are approved. Some directional for north is ascending and south is descending, and of course some speed limits that were completely ignored by M&M Rails when he thought I wouldn't notice. Spoiler, I noticed. So at the time I had taken some pictures. I did plan on printing this out in color, but then I thought that would just be too much color ink. So I used my black and white laser printer. So I do want to fix these up, and eventually when everything is said and done, these will be, you know, printed nicer in color, and maybe even laminated if I'm feeling fancy. But so they just show what areas are what. So you have in the upper industry, you have industry 1, you have industry 2, you have siding 1 with capacities, and some capacities have an asterisk for 40-foot cars only. So upper capacity, or upper industry sidings, industry 3, yard leads, that kind of stuff. So just basic pictures showing off what everything is referenced. You can see there's some stop lines for the runaround tracks, and initially these were 2 separate industries. I have now declared they're one industry, but you know, that's fine. We'll clear that up. Just some basic rules. You know, headlights are required, horns and bells are optional. Just because some people, when they're over, you know, they don't want to have the sound on. So, you know, horns and bells are optional right now. Yield to climbing trains, yield to mainline trains, request mainline travel from dispatch, and alert dispatch when stopping on main. You know, just some basic fun rules. This is what I have just done recently. So, I actually did this last night and this morning. When Chris came over, he was working the upper industry set here, and it took him a little longer than it takes me, which is to be, you know, expected considering I built and designed the layout. And I did design this area to be somewhat of a puzzle and become interesting when you need to, you know, switch it out. So I built this kind of instruction set so that it would help people, you know, when they're new to the layout, understand an easy approach to switching this out. So you have things like, well, you've got dots to represent like the locomotive, the arrival cars and departing cars, and then that orange and gold route is how to set the switches. So everything's color coded, make it nice and simple. I've shown them some pictures, but I haven't sat down and actually, you know, shown them the text. I just sent them pictures of the dots. They're pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I want to have them over in a couple weeks because my birthday is coming up, and I'd love to run trains and on the weekend for my birthday. So that's just the upper industry set. You drop off some cars, keep coupling, and that kind of stuff. Then with the lower industry, it's the same thing. just with the instructions and everything, pretty much the same. It gets a little different because you have the standby cars. Now, what happened with that is when I built this industry, that far track was supposed to be kind of vacant, and that was going to be the arrival. You just shunt some cars in, pull the departures out, and then slide the arrivals in towards the loading docks. Well, of course, I picked up four more cars from Mainline, as I've referenced in a couple videos, and I needed, more space. I obviously have limited space here on the layout, so what I had to do is I came up with an idea that you have standby cars in this siding, and the workers have to come out and do a quick inventory of everything in the cars and kind of come up with a plan of how they're going to transfer it and where they need to go. So in some cases, half the goods may need to be stored in the warehouse, whereas the other half are going to immediately be loaded onto a different car and be sent out. So that kind of stuff is just what I've envisioned to make up the story, to make it a little more believable. But it means that instead of just shunting 4 cars in and out, you now have 12 cars, and as mentioned, you can only have 4 on one locomotive. So if you're only running one locomotive, this area gets interesting, and I wanted to make an instruction set for it and for the upper industries. So that's kind of fun. The upper industry is 24 steps, the lower is 20 steps. This is my booklet, so it's got the setup page. Their booklets do not have a setup page, and all this is saying this is where the rolling stock is placed to start this OPS session. I wanted to make it easy to replicate if I ever wanted to, because obviously I don't want to be making an OPS session, a new OPS session every single time. My cat, he doesn't seem to care, but I do. So this way I can quickly return everything to the original positions and start this OPS session. So in this case, I was dispatch. I had the 8003, and I was just cruising around the main line until I think Mark was the operator one. Yeah. So until he left the yard, and then I could come down and park the train in the yard. So that was pretty exciting. And then this is just their step-by-step guides, pick up, drop off. As mentioned, I went through this in the live stream, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I just wanted to show you guys what I have added, which was those diagrams with the dots. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, thought it was an interesting approach to OPS sessions. They, like I mentioned, they are coming over hopefully in a couple weeks to do some more running, so I need to make another OPS session, and this time I will be filming it, so it should be a good time and get some good action. Can't wait for that. Anyways guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and until next time, enjoy your bacon.